How are we painting white objects with watercolor? I use the same principle when, for example, I'm painting snowy mountains. Hi friends, I'm Olga Koelsch, watercolor artist, teacher and a book author. Welcome to my studio. First of all, let's remember that watercolor is a transparent medium. When you paint, we apply layer on top of the layer on top of the layer, and that makes the last layer, the last part of your painting, much darker than the previous one. And in watercolor, it's very easy to get to darker tones and relatively difficult to circle back to the white, to the lighter parts. That's why we need to plan our work. There are several ways to paint white objects. First one, which I use very often for botanicals, for many other things, is to leave white paper. There is nothing else brighter than white paper. That's why when you need accents and, for example, portray very bright sunshine, you need to leave just white paper around. I use this trick very often, especially for painting flowers. You see, this completely white paper adds this sparkle of light. Same here. Same here. It's not necessarily big areas, it can be just small areas left untouched with absolutely clear white paper. I use the same principle when, for example, I'm painting snowy mountains. Right here, it's just white paper, and that's why it sparkles so much, and that shows this hyper white snow on the mountain tops. When I paint clouds, especially when I paint clouds in a sunny day, on a bright sky, I always try to leave white areas for the clouds. You see, these are completely different techniques. This is wet and wet. This was painted with a dry brush. In both techniques, I left white areas untouched. And thanks to that, I'm getting the feeling of bright sunlight. We can use white paper as a very attractive accent. For example, right here, I left the head cover untouched, just with a little bit shadow around, and that's why it looks so bright, especially on the darker background. Also in portraits, sometimes it's enough to paint the shadow parts. Usually it's the eyes, nose, mouth and hairs, and the face is just untouched. It's just white paper. Sometimes what we are seeing white is not really white, and the best example is snow. Snow white itself and consists of small crystals which reflects everything around. The color of the snow can vary from dark blue to light pink and has so many hues in it. Nothing white in here, although I painted snow. Same here for the willow. Although they look white, we know that they are white, but they technically not white. If we just try to look specifically inside, you will see that they are very light blue, light purple. Another way is to use a masking liquid. I'm not a big fan of using masking liquid because it creates very hard edges, but sometimes it works pretty nice. For example, right here in this area of the sparkling sunshine, I used two things: masking liquid, which I removed later on, and on top of that I added white gouache or titanium white. It's very tempting in the very beginning to paint white on top. White works really nice when we use just a small amount, just accents. And sometimes we would like to paint white objects, for example flowers. In this flower you clearly can see that I used very light hint of green to paint these white petals. In this white tulip I stretch my light washes from very light yellow up to neutral grayish light. Although the flower is white, it's a lot of shadows happening here, so technically this is completely far away from being just white, but because of the contrast, because I left again a little bit of very light areas around, we clearly know that this is a white flower. When you're at your very beginning of your watercolor journey, it's very tempting to think, why mix colors? I rather use some black. I have neutral tint here, and if I dilute it good enough, I will get my grayish mix to paint, for example, tulips. And this can be an option, but usually these gray mixes, they look a bit boring and they don't offer you variety. Another way to get nice, very gentle, pale mixes is to mix, so to say, triad, the yellow, blue and red, and moving the amount of your paints towards one or the other direction, you will get much more interesting grades of grayish color. So that was a little bit more on the blue side, red, and if I dilute it much more, maybe with a hint of yellow, I'm experimenting, I can get very nice, delicate mixes for the white tulip. And I can mix them all in one flower, and I can get very interesting grades, very interesting transition between colors like this. And see, because it's one of my favorite approaches, I always tend to leave some pieces of white paper, even if I'm show you how to mix very light ultramarine blue. You can mix it with orange, you can mix it with red, and then you very easily get something neutral. And the more you dilute your mix, the more neutral, the more close to white it will be. And what's also important to remember, that white works in a contrast with dark colors. To get this crispy feeling, we need to add more contrast. For example, once I add a stem right here, once I add some leaf to this tulip, that will be much more interesting. And then if I circle back to my tulip, I can add a little bit of shadows just using the same mixes I prepared. Usually shadows are located at the bottom of the flower and at the side which is opposite to sunlight. So I use just the same mix of 3 to add a little bit more of contrast. Super quick tulip to paint. If watercolor feels harder than you thought, if you hesitate before starting, worry about mistakes, or don't like the result, you are not alone. I teach watercolor in a calm, clear way, so painting feels enjoyable, not overwhelming. You are welcome to start where it feels right and grow at your own pace. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was useful. I hope it was inspiring. Please let me know in comments what kind of white objects you find more interesting to paint or more challenging to paint. What would you like to paint together with me? And see you soon. Bye bye.